What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Darren, the BowTie Fragrance Guy. The fashion and fragrance guy, that is. I talk about fragrances on this channel, but I also give you guys some style tips, some grooming tips. Sure, that you're looking and smelling your best every day. That's what I do. So if you're into that, make sure you hit subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications by hitting the bell icon as well. So that way, when I get a new video, when I do a new video, you guys will get notified. On today's video, guys, we're going to be talking about some iconic fragrances I have in my collection. Now, when I define iconic, when I got into fragrances or in this fragrance space till end of 2017 going into 2018, I'm talking about fragrances from that point up until now. Fragrances that have been really, really popular, fragrances that are really, really hyped. And in my opinion, these fragrances have warranted the hype or the love that they have received. Iconic fragrances, highly sought after fragrances, fragrances that most people have at least at one point in time in their fragrance journey at least wanted to get their nose on to confirm or to deny the popularity or the hype that this fragrance has received. I got 10 of them that I want to talk about, so I'm going to run the intro, and when we come back, we'll get into it. 10 iconic or super popular fragrances, niche that is, that I have in my collection. If you want to see what's on the list, you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. There you go.
The BowTie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. Let's jump right into it. The first fragrance up comes from the brand of Bond No. 9, a brand that I seemingly buy myself. Are one of the only people that still love Bond, but I do. I like what I like. I love what I love, and I love this brand. This first fragrance is probably my first purchase from the Bond No. 9 line, and this one is called Bleecker Street. This is Bleecker Street. Love the bottle, man. Violet leaves, blueberry, caramel, cinnamon, and oak moss. Some of the main notes in this masterpiece. Shout out and rest in peace to the Godfather Kevin Samuels. He said this fragrance was Prince in a bottle, and that's because of the colors of it. Amazing bottle. One of my favorite bottles or bottle presentations in my collection. Love this stuff, man. So nostalgic. Reminds me of the great days in this community that we call the fragrance community. It's just an amazing fragrance, man. So good, so versatile, so appropriate for spring, but by that same token, so appropriate year-round. And that's because it has all of the elements that you would want in an amazing spring fragrance. In my opinion, it is very green because of that violet leaf note in here, but you have all these sweet elements that make it kind of gourmand, like the caramel, the vanilla. And I think there's controversy about whether there's a blueberry note in here. Not 100% sure. I could see where people, when people said that, where it's coming from, it smells like it. But anyway, just an amazing fragrance. Very popular, probably one of the most popular fragrances from Bond No. 9. That's kind of sort of what this list is about. When people gravitate towards this brand, this is one of the first ones that they want to get their nose on because they heard a lot about it. So I love this stuff. Check it out. It's from the brand of Bond No. 9, Bleecker Street. All right, guys, the next fragrance on this list comes from the brand of Parfums, the Marley. There was so much hype around this fragrance, and I think a lot of people still love it to this day. And I think, as with all the fragrances on this list, it was well warranted. This is from the brand of Parfums, the Marley, and this is called Leighton, man. This is lavender, amber, vanilla, and there's a coffee accord in here as well. This is so good, man. This is so good. Again, I think when it came out, a lot of people got behind this fragrance. Now, there was another fragrance that preceded this, which was Harry. I think that fragrance really put this fragrance brand on the map, per se. But this fragrance is the one I think took it to the next level. This took it to the next kind of stratosphere. I think it introduced a younger audience to this fragrance brand. Because you think about Harriet and what Harriet consists of, I could see somebody potentially, obviously, because it's a fragrance, somebody younger getting with that fragrance, but this is more of a mass appeal and has more of that versatility to it. And again, like I said, I think this fragrance really took this brand to the next level as far as recognition. So amazing fragrance. So glad to have this in my collection. When you smell stuff like this, it just reminds you, you're reminded, I would say, of how good it is, man. So good, man, from the brand of Parfums de Marley. Definitely in my top 3 from the brand, and always will be. All right, guys, the next fragrance, definitely iconic from the brand of Amouage Reflection, man. This is one of the originals, man, OG, if you will. Petit Grain Neroli Jasmine, Orris Root, and Sandalwood. This is good. This is so good, man. Amouage is a brand. What I love about it is the creativity. The creativity of the brand, the quality of the ingredients. Of course, a Middle Eastern brand. This particular fragrance is one, I think, that even if you're not a fan of Middle Eastern kind of inspired fragrances, you can still love this fragrance because it's so versatile. It's a clean white floral fragrance with that creamy sandalwood and the powdery nuances of Orris in this fragrance. It is absolutely fantastic. It is amazing. And again, I think it is very much an iconic fragrance. Now, when you talk about this brand, obviously you can put Jubilation 25 in there and Interlude, man, which I think are the other 2 fragrances from this brand that gets a lot of attention and recognition when you think about the name Amouage. Those fragrances may come to your mind, but this one I think is the more versatile of all those fragrances and appeals to a wider audience of people. So definitely one that I recommend checking out. I have an OG, so it's not magnetic. This is one of the old caps that kind of clicks into place, but glad to have it in the collection, man. Definitely an iconic fragrance in my opinion. Check out Reflection. All right, guys, this next fragrance to me is what this list really is all about. Released in 1985, it stood the test of time, and in my opinion, it's as popular today as it was back then. From the brand of Creed, Green Irish Tweed. Green Irish Tweed. Lemon verbena, iris, violet leaves, sandalwood, some of the main notes. Whenever I put my nose to this fragrance, and as many times as I've done it, I'm still blown away at just how good this is. Now, there's some other fragrances out here I'm pretty sure you've heard about. It hasn't been cloned or inspired as many offspring as Creed Aventus, but definitely a fragrance that has its fair share of inspired by fragrances or fragrances that kind of smell similar, but none of them can quite do what this fragrance does. It's so masculine, it's so fresh, it's so clean, it's so good. And I think, those characteristics are what contributes to this fragrance being such an iconic scent. Check it out if you haven't, man, especially if you can get your hand on a 4-ounce bottle. You'll hit the jackpot. But it's from the brand of Creed. This is Green Irish Tweed. All right, guys, the next fragrance comes from another niche fragrance brand that I really, really love, from the brand of Xerjoff, and this one is called Naxos. Naxos. And what you get with Naxos is lavender, cinnamon, tobacco, tonka bean, some of the main notes. Hey, what do you say about a fragrance, or what do I say about a fragrance that resembles or is in the same ballpark as my favorite designer fragrance of all time, Pure Havane, from the brand of Mugler? Well, to me, it's one of the most iconic. Heard a lot about this fragrance when I got really started getting into niche fragrances. More so even than 49s, which is, another, in my opinion, amazing fragrance from this brand, but this is the most popular one. I feel like when people start venturing in the niche and they, start to show some interest in Xerjoff, I think more people gravitate towards this fragrance for the initial exploration process to begin. And it's just an amazing fragrance. But I always say when you compare this to a Pure Havane, this is a smoother fragrance. That lavender has that kind of calming effect on the scent profile, and there's honey in this as well. It's just a fantastic fragrance, man. So check it out if you haven't yet. I don't know what you'll be waiting on to try it. It's phenomenal. From the brand of Xerjoff, this is Naxos. All right, guys, the next fragrance up on this list. This fragrance took the fragrance industry by storm when it hit the market. It is so good, man. From the brand of By Killian, this is Angel Share. Angel Share. Cognac, oak wood, cinnamon, and praline. Some of the main notes. I can't tell you how good this is. Cannot tell you how good this is. It came out in 2020. And there's already countless fragrances that have done their version of inspiration or inspired fragrance by this scent profile. But just like I said with Green Irish Tweed, none of them quite capture the essence of what this is. Amazing. And I say that in all sincerity, man. When you smell it, you put your nose to it, that cognac oak wood combination, it just gives you such a almost photorealistic, idea of what it would be like for cognac to be aging in oak barrels for years. And that's what I love about this scent profile. It has a gourmand feel to it, but a sophisticated feel at the same time. Absolutely love this stuff. Iconic for sure. From the brand of Killian. It's Angel Share. All right, guys, the next fragrance up on this list, the brand is iconic and the fragrance is iconic as well. This is from the brand of Parfums. Creation E. Cognac, tobacco, vanilla, and patchouli are some of the main notes. Man, listen, the fascinating thing about this fragrance is that kind of Coca-Cola accord. Most of the time when you hear people talk about this fragrance, they make that reference. It is definitely present. Maybe this is what Tonka Cola was inspired by from Mancera, which kind of in a way resembles this fragrance. But this is so good, man, so complex, so sexy, so well done. I love the story that Roja tells about this fragrance and kind of sort of the kind of idea behind this fragrance or the marketing of this fragrance, the Enigma, the name, which is called Enigma in other parts of the world, Creation E. And they tell the story about this gentleman that's sitting in this kind of this bar or lounge area. He's kind of mysterious. Don't really know if he's supposed to be there or not. It's an amazing story. You need to, find it. It's on YouTube somewhere. And that's what this fragrance is. It's just so sexy, and there's a mysterious aspect to it that I love. But it's iconic, and I think that it's deserved all of the accolades and the talk that it's received from the brand of Parfums. Creation. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, whether you like this fragrance or not, I would say you cannot deny its popularity that it's had. It's from the brand of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. This is Baccarat Rouge 5. And this is almond, saffron, ambergris, and musk is some of the same notes. My goodness, man, this fragrance competes with Creed Aventus for the whole popularity contest, if you will. Amazing fragrance. One of those fragrances that has, far reached outside of the fragrance community. Actors, other celebrities, athletes, other like. Everybody wanted to get their hands on a bottle of Baccarat Rouge 540. The mall there in South Park Mall in Charlotte, talking to some of the sales associates there, they said that once Cam Newton, when he quarterbacked for Panthers, came in and bought a whole crate of this stuff. That's how popular this fragrance was and how much people love it. And honestly, I'm a fan. Another fragrance that is starting to become kind of a victim of his own success, if you will, because there's so many clones, so many fragrances that were inspired by this scent DNA. But I always say, it doesn't change the fact that it's great. From the brand of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, Baccarat Rouge 540. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list comes from the brand of Frederic Malle. This is Musc Revolution. Musc Revolution, musk, cinnamon, vanilla, amber. Some of the main notes in this fragrance. It's so good. Done by none other than Maurice Roussel. I think this is kind of his lane when it comes to fragrances, but this stuff is fantastic, guys. You have the opening that has the cloves and the spices, and then the dry down is all about the vanilla, the sweetness of vanilla and cinnamon. Absolutely fantastic. Again, it smells like a Cinnabon, and that's what I love about it. It's so rich, warm and so cozy. And although Portrait of a Lady is still my personal favorite from this brand, I think this one is a little bit more, we talk about popular and iconic. I think I'll still give the nod to this one. It's amazing, guys. Check it out. Again, we're getting to the time of year where I get to start wearing this fragrance a lot more, from the brand of Frederic Malle, Muscarella. All right, guys, and I saved the most iconic fragrance for last, from the brand of Creed. You know it's coming. Aventus. Pineapple, birch, apple, blackcurrant, musk, vanilla. Some of the main notes in this inarguable masterpiece of a fragrance. And there is no fragrance, in my opinion, that is more popular than Creed Aventus, especially in the niche genre. I know some people may argue with the Acqu Di Gios and stuff like that, but when you talk about niche fragrances, there's nothing more popular than Creed Aventus. I don't have to talk a lot about this fragrance because I'm pretty sure, regardless of how long you've been in the fragrance, if you've heard about this one. But if you've just heard about it and never gotten your nose on it, do yourself a favor and check it out. Everything I talked about on this list, pretty much this fragrance embodies, so I'll just leave it there because you guys have heard about this one more than likely. But you cannot, when you talk about popular fragrances, you talk about iconic fragrances, fragrances that have had a lasting effect on the fragrance industry as a whole. My God, this is the fragrance, man. So anyway, definitely a popular, iconic fragrance for all the reasons I've outlined in this video from the brand of Creed. It's the king of Aventus. But that is it, guys. That is my time. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Don't forget, of course, to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you're sharing these videos out to some other folks that you think could use the information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darren, on the BowTie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell fantastic. So until next time, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you